Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am going to give people a chance to come on into the live and join us for our very first Well and Cultured Conversation series. All right. As you come on into the room, please tell me where you're joining in from. I see a couple familiar faces. Hello, cousin. How are you? Hello, Mimi the missionary. So glad to see you here. I think you are going to really connect with our guest tonight. So come on in the room. Maricel, so nice to see you here. Please drop in the comments where you are tuning in from. We want to begin to get like a global audience. So do not despise small beginnings, right? So let me tell you guys, we still have a couple minutes, maybe about 2 minutes before we literally begin. But I want to thank you so much for being early, for being tuned in, and just being willing to have this conversation with us tonight. Okay, we have St. Louis, we have Tennessee. All right, I am streaming to you live in my home office from Chicago, Illinois. And so welcome, welcome, welcome. We're going to have a juicy conversation, a delicious conversation tonight, and it's centered in flavor, culture, and wellness practices around the diaspora. So if you know a foodie, if you know an artist, if you know a chef, if you know somebody who's just interested in exploring global cuisine and flavors, tag them, tell them to hop on this live tonight because we're going to have some juiciness for them. All right. All righty. And listen, I am not the tech person, right? I am not the tech person. So if we encounter some technical difficulties tonight, please be patient with me, right? Hello, hello, Celine. I see that you joined. So glad to see you here. We are going to officially start in about a minute. But I'm so excited that we have some early arrivals. Yes. Okay, thank you for tagging someone, Celine. They may be blessed by it. I hope everyone on the call or on this live is blessed by the information that we're going to share. 1 minute, and then I'll give an official introduction, and we will be bringing on our guest shortly. All right. So glad to be here. I'm glad you are here as well. If during this conversation, you have any questions, feel free to hit your question button and submit the question or drop them in the chat. And we will do our best to answer all of your questions. All right. Also, I wanted to ask you guys here. Did you all hear a couple posted?
All right.
Oh, there's our guest. Yes. Yes.
Oh wait, let me wipe this camera. There we go.
Glad to see you. Look, let me move back a bit. My head. All right. Let me officially welcome everyone. This is Well and Cultured with Herbie Pop. We are starting a conversation series to have the most delicious, juicy conversations with people who love flavor and culture and connection and exploration as much as we do, okay? As much as we do. And tonight we have a beautiful, beautiful soul named Alexandra Antoine. Now, Alexandra, I want you to, before we go any further, tell the people where you're from, because I asked everybody to just drop in where they're from. Some St. Louis on here, Tennessee on here, Chicago.
Okay.
But tell us where you're originally from.
Okay, originally from Florida, and that's actually where I am right now.
Okay.
But based in Chicago, and then my people are from Haiti.
Okay, so based in Chicago, currently streaming live from Florida, but your people, and I was going to ask you, where your people from? Where your people
Okay,
from?
that's the question. I need to make a shirt with that on it, because I ask people that all the time.
Exactly. That's always the question. I see Celine, she's like, I'm in Georgia. but I'm from Brooklyn, right? Two very different places. But I'm so glad that this technology allows us to connect from wherever we are on the globe. And it sort of reminds me of food, right?
Yes. Yes.
Ability to help us connect from anywhere on the globe. But listen, before we get too far into the conversation, I want to let the audience know that Well and Cultured is a conversation series. And we'll be talking to artists, chefs, flavor makers, wellness practitioners, historians, who else? Foodies, globetrotters, people who are just committed to allowing our experience of flavors and food to connect us globally. If you're just tuning in, welcome. I am so glad that you are here, and we are joined with Alexandra Antoine.
Yes, I'm happy to be here.
Good. Now listen, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Melanie Monique. I am the co-founder of Herbie Pop, artisan herbed popcorn, along with my husband. And we literally make popcorn that is herbed with nothing but pure herbs from around the earth. And we create flavor profiles that are similar to global cuisine. The initial idea was there are herbs all over the world. Like everybody herbs, everybody cooks with herbs, and herbs are so healing. Hence Herbie Pop and on what? Wellness. Yes. Oh, look at Mimi already. Sock pasta.
I know, right?
See that?
I saw that.
all you Haitians on here, don't start
people in the house.
Haitians in the house. I love that. Now, I want to tell the people where I first met you. Herbie Pop was doing a summer market. We were in Bronzeville. And all I remember is looking up and seeing Alexandra. And I don't know if you remember what I said to you. Do you remember my proclamation?
I know it was something like positive and bright, but I don't remember exactly what it was.
Let me tell you guys, she was standing, I was vending, she was standing right in front of me. And I looked up and said, "You're beautiful. You should be a model. Are you a model?" She just smiled and was like, But a very, very pleasant encounter. And it was through that encounter, all I learned about Alexandra then was that she was a farmer.
Yeah.
Talking about herbs and things like that. So I want you all to know, not only is Alexandra a farmer, she is also an interdisciplinary artist, and we're going to dig into that. She's also a chef, okay? And she is also a food explorer. And I think that is an appropriate term because she does all the things with food.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about your journey. I really want to know, as someone who is getting to know a little bit about you, how did you even get here? Okay, and what I mean is this woman just got back from Kenya, learning indigenous foods and flavor profiles. And a little birdie told me that she travels all around.
I've been trying.
So tell us a little bit about your craft, how you got to food being such an important part of your life.
Okay, so let's see. So I grew up in a Haitian household. Okay. So we know the food was banging. So I mean, food was just like, and I honestly thought everybody was eating how I was eating. Like I really thought the rice and the beans and the bun and the legging, I thought everybody was eating like that. Until I asked people, I'm like, have you ever had suspa? Have you ever had rice? I'm like, y'all don't know what? So food has always been a love. I've always had a deep love. I just love to eat, right? But then I also knew that I wanted to be an artist at a very young age. Like I was one of those people that was like, I know I want to be an artist. I didn't know what it would look like, but I knew I wanted to be an artist. So as I continued through like life and school, in between those times, I would travel, right? And the first place I traveled, well, I traveled to Haiti a lot as a kid because my mom would send me there for the summer. But outside of the Caribbean, the first place I went to was Mali, West Africa.
Mhm.
Spent almost 5 months in Bamako,
Mhm.
almost didn't come back until my Caribbean family was like, we didn't send you there to stay. And I was like, but I'm home, like my people, right? And it was and what was funny too, and I gotta say this, because I was thinking about this recently. I used to take pictures of foods. Like when I would travel, like especially when I was in Bamako, I would take pictures of the dishes. So like the tiga na, which is like a peanut sauce stew, like peanut sauce with chicken, and you eat it with the rice and stuff. Like I would take pictures of all of that before Instagram was even a thing, right? And just like keep it as a memory.
Mhm.
Like I remember helping women in the kitchen, like make the whatever meat we were having, like marinating it or forming it into things. So all of those, like the artistry, the food were always there, like at the same time. But it was only when was it was in 2020, during the global pause
Mhm.
and everyone started talking about a lack of food and like black brown neighborhoods and all that.
Mhm.
It was something shifted in me where art and food came together,
Okay.
right? Because these are like two long held passions that I've always had. Then the farming came right after that. Food collages came after that. Like everything, it's kind of like it fell into place because everything was already there. But when I step back and look at it now, I'm like, oh, the pieces were there. Like when I was traveling, I was already like asking about the food. I was already paying attention when I was walking through the markets. You know what I'm saying? Like when I was creating art, I was already thinking about these things. But somehow now it's all come together
Yes.
and I could not be more happier.
That's so amazing. Let me tell you what it sounds like to me. You said
Mhm.
2020, it all came. And I'm like, that's only 2 years ago. When I look at what you have accomplished since
Okay.
2020,
That
like,
part.
that part, talk about putting the foot to the pedal and allowing your passion for food
Mhm.
to come together in such a substantial way that it's causing other people to think even more deeply about
Mhm.
food and flavor and the diaspora and things like that and how food connects us all. Now, let me
Yeah.
ask this. You said the pieces were there all along. What's your earliest favorite memory
Mm.
around food or flavor or something like that?
Mm. Every day eating at home. No, but I think it has to be when I went to Haiti as a kid,
Mm-hmm.
th and getting to see, so my maternal granddad was a farmer,
Mm-hmm.
and being on his land and actually seeing like before the food hit the grocery store, what it looked like that always sticks with me. Like there's times where I'll think about like seeing the chickens in his yard or like seeing one of my aunts prepare chicken, and I was like, oh, like things just were clicking that I was like, okay, there's roots to this
Yes.
before it looks like pretty and packaged, but it's actually like part of the environment and the earth and part of your life. Like the cycle made, I understood the cycle more, and that was something that always sticks to me is like the cycle of, okay, in order to get this product, like I remember we made one time I was in Haiti, we made our own peanut butter and jelly from
Okay.
scratch,
Yes.
where we were like roasting the peanuts, breaking them out the shell, like mashing it, like that whole process. I was like, oh, like, okay. I mean, as a kid and you're doing it, I'm just like, wow, I have a whole, like, I couldn't see peanut butter and jelly the same after that. Cause I
You
was just like, I understand the process of this.
Exactly. That is so powerful, Alexandra, because let me tell you, growing up in America, you
Hmm.
don't, unless you live on a farm in
Yes.
all rural America, you don't really see how food is grown, how it's produced,
Yes.
how it gets from point A to point Z. And we
Hmm.
are, I think, more careless with food
Yes.
and flavor because we just go to the grocery store and pull it off the shelf.
Oh yeah.
But when you had to weed that field and plant the seed,
Okay.
wait for it, and then get it out, and it's a
At
whole
5:30 in the morning.
before the sun rises.
Yes.
It's a whole nother type of appreciation that goes into it. And even when I think about, we work with a lot of herbs. When I think
Yeah.
about herbs, they're pretty hardy, most of them. They'll
Hmm.
grow, but to get them from leaf to put on popcorn, it's a whole thing. You know, there's got to be some pounding, some grinding, some mixing,
Yes.
you know, some maybe even roasting to bring out other flavor
Yes.
profiles
Yes.
in it, right? And
Hmm.
so many of us don't know how it's grown, but I venture to say through the work that you're doing and just
Hmm.
showing the food where it
Yes.
and things like that,
Mhm.
we'll have a higher level of appreciation. Now, I
Mhm.
give you a disclaimer. I am just a very curious person, and I
Okay.
may accidentally ask a question that you're not interested in answering, right? So I will not be offended if you're like, pass the plate, or
Ah!
I'm not going on that. Okay, pass the plate, pass the plate. So I just want to put that out there as
Okay.
big into the conversation. Now, I want us to kind of backtrack a little bit. I was on your website because I had
Mhm.
all the digging I could. And for those of you who don't know Alexandra and her work, please
Mhm.
visit her website at
Yeah.
alexandraantoine.com. And I was on that site and you wrote a book.
I did.
I'm like, how did that happen? Because, and the reason I'm asking, how did that happen? Because it's not a cookbook. It's
Hmm.
not quite a poetry book, but it's so
Hmm.
poetic and it has
Hmm.
imagery and then details about certain foods that are indigenous
Hmm.
to Africans. Tell us a little bit about that and how it came about.
Okay, now is this the one that has the hibiscus and like the collards?
Okay,
Is
I'm
it
thinking
that one?
that. Is that the book or is that your?
Yeah. So that one, that's a series of prints,
Okay.
but it actually will be. So you're seeing the future. Because after I did that series, I was like, this is gonna be a book. I'm gonna keep adding more to it. Um, so yeah, and somebody's like, when did that happen?
Yeah.
So I have been, right, I've been writing for some years,
Hmm.
but have not been sharing it. And I think the thing was, one, it was because, there's that fear of like,
Putting it out there.
what are people gonna say? But then also I kept seeing myself as not somebody who writes. So even though I knew what I was writing was authentic to me, it was in my voice, I was like, wait, but I'm an artist and I work with food. Like,
Mm.
this is not what a writer is. Um, and so that series came about after I read Vertimer Grosvenor's Vibration Cooking.
Mhm.
When I read that book, and I like it was like 3 days or less it took me. Something just like hearing her, and I could hear her voice too as she was writing. I was like, I am a writer. Hold on. Because her experiences mirrored mine so much when it came to travel and food and things like that.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I was just, and here's another, a elder black woman that I was like, wait a second, if she could write like this about her experiences, I was like, okay, I could do this. So that's where that series came about, where I did the five foods. It was hibiscus, collards, okra, black eyed pea, and what was the other one? There's one more, and yuca.
Oh, you go.
Because all of those foods I had had experiences with through my travels. And just like, and when I say experience, it's not even just like the food is not just the food being good, but it's the environment, like what I was hearing, what I was seeing, like colors, how I was feeling. So I try to tie all of that into like things that I write.
Yeah.
But yes, there will actually be there will be more books in my future. I don't talk about it a lot, but I'm like,
Yeah.
I see this as a thing. This is a thing.
Somebody in the comments was like, wait, when did that happen? What? You wrote a book? And you know what I love about hearing what you just said? You said, oh no, I work with food. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
a writer. But then when you saw another person who is into food like you, and they shared their voice and put it out there, it transformed your mind and it became possible for you to.
Yes.
And this is
Yes.
why your work in food is so important, because I'm sure there's another woman, another Black girl, another,
Mm-hmm.
even somewhere that's like, I think about food in different ways. You,
Yes.
you speak about food like musicians speak about notes, you know? You think about food like architects look at lines. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And it's all such a beautiful way to perceive food, but it's not shared so freely out there. So you just,
Mm.
like Corinne said, manifesting all those talents and flow
That's right.
your art, you are expanding what is possible for someone else. Let me tell you, when I read your prints, your voice reminded me of my voice. And
Uh,
like you, I don't consider myself a writer, but sometimes I just get into a really poetic flow, and it could
mhm.
be herbs, because I love my herbs. It can be around herbs, it can be around healing, anything like that. But I just kind of write it for myself.
Mhm.
I don't put it out there, but you kind
Yes.
of fire under the kettle to maybe that this talent does need to be shared with the.
Yes.
Now, let me ask you this. For those who are just joining us, Alexandra is an interdisciplinary artist. Tell us, what
Mhm.
art forms do you
I do, so I've done painting, printmaking, traditional wood sculpt, African traditional wood sculpture. Um, what else? Food plating, which is
mhm,
an art skill.
mhm.
I've done all forms of printmaking, sculpture. I've done it all. If you do it with your hands, I'm into it.
Look at that. And I
Yeah.
saw some of the work that you did recently. I'm not sure if
Mhm.
it was for an organization where you did the bench. And
Oh yeah, In Care of Black Women. Let's shout them out. So
yeah,
you can find them on IG at In Care of Black Women.
okay, so
Yeah.
you all check out In Care of Black Women. But I remember I saw you in an interview with Garfield Park Conservatory
Yes.
saying that, what if the art could be on functional pieces? And so there's this
Yes.
beautiful bench that you did featuring a Black woman's face and
Hmm.
food on the legs. And I thought, what a beautiful way just to bring in the art of food into our
Hmm.
everyday space, even when we're not eating.
Yes.
So listen, you guys, she is an interdisciplinary artist. She is a
Hmm.
painter. She is a chef. She is an author. She is a food explorer, traveling all around,
Yes. Yes. And I
eating,
ain't done yet.
and not done yet. So this is a very non-traditional life path. Now,
Yes. Hey.
that excites
Hey.
me, but I want to ask you, have you
Hmm.
had those people that are like, what are you doing?
Oh, let me tell you. Well, see, I grew up in a Caribbean home, so they was already like art. And see, in my head, I was hearing them say like, "Yes, girl, you go ahead, girl." But what was coming out of their mouth was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna need you to like go to nursing school or something." But what I've come to understand is that, and I also read a lot of autobiographies because I love learning about other people's lives, is that when you follow what you're passionate about and what feels in alignment with you,
Mm-hmm.
thing like pathways just open up. And
Mm-hmm.
when I tell you, sometimes I be in places and I be doing projects and people are like, what are you up to now? And I'm like, y'all, when you follow your passion, like when you are really like in alignment with something and it calls you,
Yeah.
like ways will be made. Like people will find you and be like, I need you for this thing. Can you help with this thing? Like, and I have thought about that, how untraditional this path is.
Mm-hmm.
But when I see how things just fall into place, I'm like, you know what? This is alignment. That's all I can say. It is like that. To other people, it may look like it's not steady or it's not like structured the way it should be structured. But I'm just like, when I look at all the things that are happening and people who continue to reach out to me or people who I continue to connect with, I'm like, this is alignment. So
Yeah.
let me just stay on my path. I ain't looking to the left or the right. I'm doing me.
Good, good. And I understand that feeling because well, Irby Pop was actually born out of medical missionary work. And
Mm.
I, for years, would travel throughout the US doing workshops, seminars, hands-on cleansing, detoxing,
Wow.
changing their diets, introducing herbal programs to help reverse a lot of disease. And we did that until
Mm.
4 children. By the time we had 4 children, I was like, we have to switch up this model somehow. But people would always ask me things
Mhm.
like, well, when are you going to get a real job? When are you going to settle down?
Okay.
Things like this. And so I understand that. Oh, somebody said they love Irby Pop.
Hey, I love it too.
And
I love it. That's why all my bags gone.
I was going to say,
All my bags gone.
we're going to get to your favorite flavor of Irby Pop in just a minute. But
Oh, yes.
there is a question in tandem in my mind, and maybe I'm the only one that thinks like this, okay?
Uh-huh.
Taking full responsibility because you are like so genius and you travel and you have this full flavored, delicious life. Has that impacted romantic
Mm-hmm.
relationship possibilities pending, like
Hmm.
you even want one? Okay.
Well, see, I love is going to come.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'm a very much so romantic. So I'm like, it's going to happen. Um, but I'm like, you know what? In due time, because I do travel. Now I do realize, okay, the person who gonna come, like, there's gonna be a love for travel and and eating and all that.
Yeah.
Um, but no, it's just at the moment, like I'm so into what I'm working on and like things I'm doing that it's not like, okay, I don't want it, but I'm like, it'll come when it comes.
Let
Like I am so
Yeah.
feeling in alignment right now. Like all the things gonna come.
And you know what? I am so in support of that thought process. Let me tell you, I was into wellness work and things like that before I met my husband. I had totally
Mhm.
transformed my diet. I became plant-based. And before I became,
Wow.
I was like, this was before I ever had children. Okay. And for you all who know my story, I'm over 200 pounds. And
Wow.
the discoloration in my skin. I had ligament laxity. I had horrible issues around my cycle. And so I had begun to transform my lifestyle by the grace of God. And so
Wow.
my close girlfriends used to laugh and tease me and say, girl, you think you're going to find a black man who doesn't eat chicken, who loves Jesus?
Stop.
And I said, yes. Yes. And
Oh man.
because I was just walking in what God had for me,
Hey.
alignment with what I felt was right for me. I am
Mhm.
currently 18 years married to a black man
Woo!
who does
Yes.
not eat chicken, who loves Jesus. So look, be
That
encouraged.
chicken part.
Because look, I'm not gonna even go there. We love some meat in the Midwest. Okay.
Hey.
I can't speak for other places, but we became
Hey.
this man went completely plant-based after our first date, and that was 20 years ago.
Wow.
Meet again. Right. And at first I was like, oh, men will do anything to try to act like they like you. He's gonna get me to, but this was his truth. It was his truth. All right. So
That's beautiful.
it is. And so, honey, be encouraged. But let's get into some flavor, right? So,
Okay.
so far, what has been your favorite herby pop flavor?
Okay, so there are at least three, but
Okay.
the one that I have like kept the longest, meaning like I had to hide the bag so that it would not be done,
Yeah.
was the Moroccan mint.
Hey, yeah.
Because first of all, I think I said this when I first bought it from you. I was like, mint and popcorn. I don't know about that. I already like sweet popcorn. So that vanilla one, oh my God, that one is good. Um, and the Sicilian flavor one.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. Side story. I took a bag of that to Kenya
Oh, wow.
with me because I had got like three of them
Yes.
when I saw you. Took one to Kenya. I opened it and I was like, all right, I'm only gonna eat this for like 3 to 5 minutes. Like we just going continuous just for 3 to 5 minutes, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I look back and the bag was half gone, and your bags are like overfilled, like they like bulging at the top, right?
Mm-hmm.
I put that bag down, and I promise you, I was looking at it for 5 minutes. I was like, I just opened you. Like, how are you halfway? Like me talking to the bag. I'm like, where did you go? Like, how? I just opened you. What?
We
So,
listen, we have
so what?
a problem around here.
So what I had to do was I had to hide the bags from like in different parts of my apartment so that I would not eat it all in one sitting. And when I tell you I had opened something and I found a bag of the Sicilian, I was like, oh my God, I got one.
Right,
I
right.
did not realize I hit it that good. And when I found it was gone in like a day and a half. And I was like, oh my God.
And so, look, I see people who have pop dropping their favorites in the comments. And
Yes.
I saw jollof, I saw masala, I saw people
Oh,
pizza.
let me tell
Mimi
you.
said she has the same struggle as you. And Mimi loves Sicilian. She loves Sicilian.
That one is good.
And so,
But the Moroccan mint,
yes, yes.
I'm just like, how I eat it and I'm like, how is mint in popcorn? Like this is, and I've let people try it.
Uh-huh.
Meaning I hold the bag as they get some and then I take it right back. But everyone always has the same expression. They're just like, whoa, like, cause you can taste like the real mint. And that is one thing I love about Irby Pop is that even for the vanilla, I was like, there's actual vanilla specks on here. Like, this not just like, and I know my vanillas, okay? But it's not just like flavoring. Like, you can actually see the herbs, and I'm just like, oh, this is good. And even the salt, like I think it's the Hawaiian black salt.
Oh, yes.
I was like, yeah, this is salt. Because I've tasted salt. Like, I've tasted salt in Benin. I've tasted salt in Bamako. And these are places that Benin, they was getting the salt right out the ocean. So I'm like, at this point, I'm like, yeah, I know what salt's supposed to taste. It ain't supposed to taste like that Morton that everybody buying. I'm like, salt is salt. And when I had that one, I was like, oh wow.
That,
Oh, this is some salt here.
that makes me feel so good because let me tell you, as a company, we have been told you all need to like just buy that stuff over there. Like people have literally asked us to dumb down our ingredients,
Ah,
cost sake. And we are staunch. We're like, no, the whole reason we started is because we don't want to give
mhm.
our friends and family all that fake and preservatives and
Okay.
artificial and this. And then somebody was
Mhm.
like, oh, your prices aren't high enough. And I'm like, look, I could go for some extra dollars, right? But I want to make it more accessible, for the people.
Yes.
And so, speaking of real flavors, and let me just tell you that Moroccan mint, it was
Whew.
inspired by the Moroccan mint tea service.
Ah.
Yes, the Moroccan Ate tea service. And when I first started working on that flavor, I thought the same thing. I was like, mint on popcorn, but then I thought,
Yeah.
seeing some of those it usually you'll see it around Christmas time and it'll be like candy cane crunch.
Oh yeah, you're right.
And so I thought if they could put candy canes with some pop, sure I can use the real mint herb and my other,
Yeah.
buy bag to see all the ingredients on the front or just,
Yes.
but I use other things to really bring out that like tea like true mint like flavor
Mm-hmm.
corn. And it's good to know that a chef, somebody who's really into food, appreciates that flavor profile.
And the crunch is there, okay? Because I have opened some bags of popcorn and
Yes.
I was like, this has been sitting on the shelf. Your bags, I was like, the crunch is, that's why I finished it too fast. The crunch is there, y'all. Like, and you see when I come, I always buy multiple bags. I'm just like, and I do not eat it. I don't even open it on the way home until I get to the house.
Secure the
Because
bag.
I'm like, I would not finish this before I get to the house. But it's the packaging, the flavors, the crunch. I'm like, yes, yes, and yeah. And you know what's funny? I had stopped eating popcorn for a while because I was like, it's not really doing anything. And like, as far as like for my health or whatever popcorn I was popping or like whatever ones I was buying. Then when I started eating yours, that was when I actually like have been buying popcorn again. Cause I'm just like, yeah, there's love in this here.
And
And
wait,
I can tell when people put love in food.
and I do. I am serious over here. Like, I'm like, no, it's not crunchy enough. No, like I have this no kernel left behind program, right? Everything will be perfect. Okay. Because I remember like when you open up a commercial bag of popcorn or chips or something like that,
Mhm.
half the bag is air. I personally feel
Huh.
right. So I'm
Mm.
producing it the way that I would like to experience it. Have you ever gone to a restaurant? And I know you out there listening can identify with this. You go to a restaurant and you get a dish of food and it's good, but it's not good like it would be if it were made at home.
Mhm.
It's like
Mhm.
the flavors, it's like they're holding back just a bit on the flavor. And I'm like, you know how we eat at home. We want all the flavor. We want to
Yes.
put our fingers,
Okay.
we,
That part.
we want to turn to the side and kind of lick the plate when nobody's looking. And so I wanted the same robust experience to be in a bag of pop.
Mhm.
Now I'm laughing at Celine. She says, I mean, Jollof. We could not believe how good it was, right? And let me tell you why let me just throw this in there, Antoine. I call you by your last name, Alexandra.
Oh yeah.
This is the power of the work that you do and that I'm
Mhm.
in with Herbia Pop. And Celine is one of my good friends, so she's not going to mind. Celine, Puerto Rican heritage,
Mhm.
born and raised in New York, currently living in Tennessee. friends from all around. And she's like, that jollof is banging. Okay. And so that jollof now opens her mind up. Where does this flavor come from?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, West Africa. I think me and Celine have talked about jollof wars. We've talked about how serious, you know, we talked about how serious that flavor profile is to the people,
Yes.
and it's culturally significant. And so
Mm-hmm.
I want you for a moment to talk a little bit about how you see food and cultural significance, or how food shows up culturally, and how it's almost like this beautiful thread through so many.
Mm. Well, I will say this too, like on the trip I did to Kenya,
Mhm.
because it was very important for me to experience Kenyan food with locals.
Yeah.
And just like seeing certain ingredients that I've also seen in West Africa,
Mhm.
of like corn
Mhm.
and like certain greens. And then I do this thing where I always get sugar. I always try to get some sugar cane wherever I go in the diaspora, because I'm like, I just want to taste how it grows, like how it tastes in different regions.
Yeah.
Okra. I was on the hunt for okra. I was playing it cool, but I was like, when I see okra in this market here in Nairobi or in Mombasa, where I found it, I was like, I'm buying a whole bunch of that. But I love to see how people use the same ingredients, but differently. And even, let me tell you, I found out something because when I came back from Kenya, I was chilling with my family in New York for a little bit. And I was talking to them about ugali, which is like the fufu. It's like a firm type of fufu in Kenya that's made with like white cornmeal.
Mhm.
And my one of my aunts was like, "Oh yeah, we have a fufu in Haiti." I was like, "Excuse me, we have a fufu." She was like, "Yeah, but we make it with, I think it was like cassava or something." And
Really?
she was like, "Yeah, in this part of Haiti, like that's how they eat." And she was like, "Yeah, you eat it with your hands like this." And I'm like, this whole time, y'all ain't tell me we got fufu in Haiti. I mean, I'm not surprised because I'm also like, okay, I get the connection. But
Yeah.
now I'm like, all right, so I need to go to Jeremy, where she said it was,
Mhm.
and I need to have this fufu. And one of my other aunt was like, well, we not from Jeremy, so of course you wouldn't have had it. And I'm like, okay, so that's where I need to put that on the itinerary, because
Yeah.
I need to experience that. Same thing when I was in Brazil a few years ago and had acarajé, which is the black eyed pea fritters. I
Mhm.
was like, I never had black eyed peas, not in just the bean form.
Mhm.
Like to actually make it into the fritter and all that. I was like, oh, this is what I love. Like even the process of watching them fry it in a palm oil.
Yes.
Oh, and even that too. Like sometimes I don't think people mention a lot, but the oils, the different oils that we use too, because palm oil and that color. And even when I was in Bamako, that was the first time I saw anybody cook with shea butter.
Yes.
When I tell you, I was like, that's what food tastes like when it's made with shea butter. Y'all think it's good for the skin? I was like, oh man, she fried that fish and that shit. I have yet to have a fish that tastes like a fried fish that tastes like that. I
Listen,
was just like,
it
wow.
what you're saying is so true. Like I lived in Kenya for a little over a year. And I'm gonna tell you, when I first ate ugali, I was like, I'm used to I was like, this is a little too earthy for me. Uh, by the time I was there for a little while, I was like, can I get some ugali with some sukuma wiki? Which is nothing but like almost like kale, green
Yeah, yeah.
cilantro, and the tomato and the onion, but it tasted so different from when
Mm,
we would use tomato and onion and green,
exactly.
right? And so Mimi said, yeah, all these foods are from the motherland,
Okay.
from they make it. Oh, somebody is saying they make the fufu in Haiti, they make it with breadfruit. Interesting.
Yeah, I think that's what they was telling me, and I was like, that will be a quest. that I will be sharing with people. Like when I go, I'm like, because it's very important for me too to share the process of like how people make the food and things like that.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, we gotta see. Like some people haven't traveled like that, and
Mm-hmm.
so they don't. Sometimes people don't know the relationship between like ingredients that we're eating here and ingredients throughout the diaspora.
That's
And me being who I am, an artist, young person, going around the world, I'm like, somebody gonna see, like you said earlier, somebody gonna see themselves in
yeah,
this. Like, it's
yeah.
not just reserved for like people who have 30 years in the game or something like that. Like, we could be telling our stories.
That's right. And I'm so glad you said that because we need our stories to get out there. We need the flavor profiles to get out there. We need
Hmm.
that when it comes to flavor, it may be a little different in this region or a little different in that region, but we can
Yes,
together around certain flavors and definitely ingredients. I mean,
yes,
you
yes.
you may call it one thing over there, and I may call it this,
Okay.
but it's the same thing. And that's one of the things that I love to do around with Irby Pop. I'll never forget. There was a gentleman. It was our very first marketplace that we did with Irby Pop,
Uh,
and we had a flavor called Mediterranean Munch, and it had
oh.
the thyme, the sesame seed, all of that, because I love
Oh.
profiles. They tend to be more pungent and
Yeah.
sweet. And so he said, "Hey, I'll give you some falafel. You share some of that Mediterranean Munch with me." He said, "Deal." So he took his bag of popcorn. He gave us the falafel, and we're just enjoying ourselves. He came back and he said, "This tastes like home."
Mm.
A night.
Oh.
That was one of the best compliments ever for me
Okay.
to get
Touch your
out of
soul.
the lab, right? And, and work with the herbs, and because one thing, I don't buy blends. Everything is I take
Oh.
single herbs and combine them. So there's like this alchemy going on. And
Yes.
I just want to stop and acknowledge God for a moment because I'm
Mhm.
a trained culinary artist. Come on now. I
Okay.
This is my methodology. I literally pray. There's a flavor profile that I want to create, and I pray and I say, God, I tasted it, I smelled it, help me recreate it. And then I set about, I set off, I set
There
about,
you go.
and then I tell people, taste it. Tell me what you think. Oh, Coco Berna. Coco Berna says, yes, Jollof tastes like home. Oh, that is such.
Oh.
And wait, speaking of like herbs and flavors and ingredients, I need you all to check out Coco Berna. Alexandra, you check her out too.
Okay.
Out of the west coast of Africa, just opened a all natural indigenous African ingredient
Mm.
skincare store in the 900 North Michigan building on the Gold Coast in Chicago.
Okay.
So you all need to go look. That's what I'm wearing.
Ah.
I want Cocoa Butter skincare. Like when you all see the skin glowing, it's those herbs I'm putting on the inside and that
Okay.
burner that I'm
Come
putting
on, somebody.
on. You're welcome. And so, if you're just joining us, we have 15 more minutes with Alexandra Antoine. If you all do not know, she is an interdisciplinary artist. She's an author. She's
Mhm.
a gardener. She's a chef. She's a food explorer. She does what many of us wish we could do: globe trot around the world, eating food and
Yes.
tasting flavors. I mean, what a gift. Now, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Has there ever been any flavor profile or any food that you were just like, no, can't do?
Really? Oh, okay. Hmm. Okay, so I don't know if this is a flavor profile, but everybody who know me know I don't do spice.
Okay,
Like they
you're gonna
be
be
like, but
Katie.
you from the Caribbean. I'm like, see, y'all thinking about Jamaicans and jerk. Haitian people, we have like we season, but there isn't a lot of spice, like spicy burn. There's like a few things like pickles, that you can spice up. But growing up, I don't remember eating a lot of spice. So as I got older and I would try other cuisines,
Mm-hmm.
like Indian cuisine, love Indian cuisine. But that spice,
It's
I'm like, wait a second, people. Whoa. Like, if it's like spicy spice, I can't. It basically numbs my taste buds,
yeah.
and I cannot taste flavor.
I'm
So
with
I'm like, I can't. Anything else, any other profile, I can do. But
really.
spicy, mm, mm.
Wait, people are dropping in the comments. Somebody said chitlins, never. Somebody said, wait, are you Haitian and you don't like pickles?
Ah!
And
You
then,
know, I have gotten that too, but I'm like, what Haitian dish is spicy besides pickles? I was like, what Haitian dish that we know that is made to be spicy,
yeah,
hot?
burn, right. Now, I love me some Indian. I love Ethiopian.
Yes.
Go. I have to say, please, little spice. Little spice. Because I like it. If it's so hot that my taste buds are just on fire, I can't get
Yes.
the flavor.
Yes.
I can't get the flavor. And let me tell you, I can't even eat my own jollof.
No, you know, that's how I knew the jollof was right. Because when I tasted it, I was like, oh, this got a little kick to it. Yeah, this is right. This is right.
It's my husband's favorite flavor. His favorite flavor used to be Chipotle. But once I crafted, and we've only had jollof for a year. So literally right around this time last year, literally we debuted it on the 14th last year. So
oh, wow.
It's been out a year. When once that got released, he was like, okay, Chipotle right here. Oh, this is the profile I love. Okay. So let me tell you one food that I'm plant-based.
Mm-hmm.
I've been purely plant-based this year in May for like 23 years. Okay.
Wow. Check
So I'm
out.
not to this. I'm true to this. And he's hungry now. But I lived in Scotland for a little while, and it was just when I had become plant-based. And their national...
Oh, you were in Scotland.
Yes, I love beautiful country.
It is.
But I could not get with the national dish, haggis.
Oh, yeah.
Has anyone on here, if you have ever heard of haggis or tried haggis and tatties, please drop it in the comments. And I just couldn't, it's basically like a mixture of oats and herbs and stuff, but it's cooked inside of a sheep intestine. I couldn't do it. I wanted to be able to say, yes, I went to Scotland and I ate the national dish, but I couldn't do it.
Hey, your spirit said, no, that's not it.
Exactly. It said, no. Oh, all right. So look, Mimi the missionary, she has 23 years of being.
Wow.
And for those of you who don't know, we advocate and support a plant-based life here at Irby. Okay. Oh, Celine, you said you can't eat haggis. No haggis.
Yeah, there's not many cuisines that I would not try. But I will say too, I'm also not I'm not big on I say I'm not big on seafood, but I will tear up a red snapper. Okay, like tear it up. Like this, it's like other than red snapper, I feel like everything else. I'm like, we don't really need to eat that. Like they could just live, but like seafood, I'm like, but spicy, I'm like, no, ma'am.
Okay, we only left, and I have 2 questions that I cannot let you pass by. Okay, now one question is, how do you care for yourself? The sense of being able to travel and do all this delicious living if you are not taking care of you. And now let me tell you why this is so important to me. It's important to me because probably of the work that I've done for the last almost 20 years, medical missionary work, and
Mm-hmm.
brilliant people, especially brilliant women like yourself. I mean, have the genius, the ideas, are
Mm-hmm.
making really productive things happen in our society, yet their lives are snuffed out or hindered in some way because they have not taken the time to practice wellness for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And that I can't explain how that starts.
Thank you, Corinne. Thank you, Corinne. No, no, I have to say, number one
Huh?
is stay hydrated. I
Oh,
always ask people, I'm like, or I always tell people, I'm like, stay hydrated and moisturize. Okay, hydration and moisturization.
all right.
Now, on the inside, also, I do a lot of reading. So I read a lot about everything, but I always keep time for spiritual practice and like really understanding who I am in the midst of this large universe.
Mm-hmm.
I keep nature. Nature is like I would take myself to an observatory, to a tree sanctuary place, like nature, nature, nature. I will talk to the trees as I'm walking, things like that. Also, understanding too that like how I think
Yes.
affects how I feel, affects how I act. Like I am very much so. People may call like too optimistic, but I'm like, when I tell you I don't see out of rose-colored glasses, I see what's actually here. Like
Yes.
I am in alignment with what I'm supposed to be doing. Like I got this. My art is the bomb. Okay, people who need to connect with my work and me will connect with my work and me. Like everything, if I'm thinking of it, it can be a thing. Like it can manifest itself in the world because I thought about it. So automatically that tells me I thought about it. Or it can happen. But
Yeah.
then I also too I, from time to time, pretty often, I will like do something that's out of my comfort zone also because I do believe in growing and expanding. And sometimes you have to just like put yourself out there.
Mm-hmm.
So I have started taking swimming classes. Like, I'm on part two of swimming classes. One, because I love to be in the ocean. So I'm like, okay, me and this ocean got to connect. So I got to understand how to work in this water. But then also, I did an improv class. Like, just stuff like, let me just put myself out there. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to how I show up to health wise, I do eat mostly plant based. Now, like Chef Tanya Holland said, fried chicken ain't never going out of style. So that is something when she say, I'd be like, let the church say amen. But like most of my eating is plant based.
Okay.
I try to get a lot of sun as well.
Yeah.
And then I'm very in tune with like as a woman, my cycle and all that. Like I love my cycle because honey she come in, she be like, hey girl, I'll be like, hey girl. Let me tell you, 3 days later, she be like, all right, girl, I'll see you next month. Like, when I tell you, it's just those things, I'm just like, oh, I love, the things that everybody's talking about, self-care and all that, and speaking to your body and loving your body. I'm like, yes. I'd be like, hell yes, thank you, body, for cleansing yourself.
I love
Thank you for this sweat that's coming out in my workout. This is releasing the salts and things like stuff like that. Like
that.
when I do my hair, thank you, Roots, for being moisturized
Yeah.
and like looking amazing in these Bantu knots, right? Like just stuff like, and one thing I recently learned too, I started getting these skincare products from Age Into Beauty.
Okay.
Check them out on IG. She says when you put that, like when you're massaging the oils and speak to yourself, be like, yes, happiness is here. My skin is well and healthy. Like stuff like I'm telling you,
Yes.
people be like, you're always so happy. That's because I'm saying things to myself too. Also drinking water, also getting sleep,
Yeah.
getting sun, eating from my garden. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, you
Drinking water and minding my business.
and minding your business, right?
Yeah.
You named why what I like to refer to the 8 laws of health.
Mm.
Connecting with your spiritual practice, connecting with God, getting some open air, some sunshine,
Hmm.
some proper nutrition. You said you eat from your garden.
Yes.
The only thing that I didn't hear you mention is exercise.
Oh, that's where the swimming comes
Oh,
in.
that's right.
Let me tell
You're
you,
swimming. That's right.
swimming will work every muscle in your body. But
Yeah.
every time I come up out of that water, I feel stronger.
Amen.
I'm like, yes,
All
yes.
it's all connected. That
Mm-hmm.
that I feel strengthened literally sitting here, knowing that you are caring for yourself that way, knowing that you understand that, speak to yourself, have these thoughts that are positive. Like, no, I don't have on glass.
Yeah.
This is what I'm seeing. This is my sight, right?
Exactly.
Um,
Okay.
and I love that. And like I told my daughters about you, and I told them about your work, and I told them that you just got back from Kenya and that I would be having a conversation with you. Now, not me. This is them. They said, ask her, can she make some mandazis for them?
Ah!
So
Let me tell you, that's one of the things my friend was like, you're going to show me how to make this bun again, and then I'm going to show you how to make mandazis. So that's so funny.
yeah, I told them all I can do is ask. Okay. I will ask. Now, I want to know 2 things before you leave. The first thing is, what is, do you have a goal or a big dream that you want
Mm.
to work around food and art to accomplish in this earth?
Yes. And that is along with some more writings and a book. Because mark my words, y'all, I'm putting this into universe. A cookbook will come out of me, but it would not look like the conventional cookbook. It has to be artistic. So it cannot look like the conventional cookbook. So it'll be around food and travel, and the African diaspora.
I
So we
love
put that into universe today. But then also something that I'm working on currently, and I haven't shared a lot about it because it's still in the planning phases of like creating spaces where Black folks from throughout the diaspora, folks of the diaspora, can experience farming, food, and art in different parts of the diaspora. So I had the vision and shared it with somebody who I knew could help me make it happen.
Yes.
They were like, oh yeah, we can do this. So we're planning for that. Cause I know sometimes when I travel, people are like, I want to go to y'all. This right here that we planning, I'm like, yes. So
Yes.
next year
Yes.
is yes.
I'm like,
It's just gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
I'm thinking, invite me. Don't like anything that you have coming up in the Chicagoland area this year.
Yeah.
Please let us know here at Herbie Pop. We definitely want to support. We dig weeds. We make rolls.
Oh.
You know, we do. We
Hey, there's a vegan dinner coming up because I'm already planning the dinner series for this year. So
to be there. We have to.
Oh yeah, y'all gonna be there. Yeah.
And then before I let you go, I want to know, the last question is, if there was one herb that you could only use for the rest of your life,
Just one.
that herb be? I know it's hard.
Y'all, you know it ain't even hard.
Okay.
Garlic. When I tell you, first of all, I don't trust nobody who don't cook with garlic and onions.
You don't trust?
I'll be like, let me tell you, garlic. Ooh, garlic. There was a moment in the that High on the Hog documentary when they were like in Texas with the cowboys, and one of them said, you just can't have enough garlic. And as he was pouring a Ziploc bag of it, and I was like, hallelujah. See, he understand. Garlic, first of all, is very medicinal.
It is.
Right? So good for everything. But garlic, oh man. And when you tie it with onion, oh, I'm telling you, if you just saute it, somebody will walk into your house and be like, "What are you cooking?" And all you got is some garlic and onion sauteing. Garlic is like my all time. I'm on a search to taste like every type of garlic. So black garlic,
Yes,
like the regular garlic, all of them.
yes, yes, yes.
Garlic is one herb.
Well, Alexandra Antoine, thank you so much for spending this delicious in the Well and Culture series. We will be right back here next week, same place, same time.
Yay!
Idris, the owner of Demera Ethiopian Cuisine right here in Chicago.
Oh, nice.
Look forward to the promo for that. But I want to thank you. I appreciate you so much. And I know that we are going to be doing some digging, some cooking, some eating,
Oh,
all
hey.
that together. And I want to thank you who are tuned in. Great feedback. Great
Yes.
encouragement. Corin is like no conversation.
Hey, Corinne.
Corinne. And
Corinne's a phenomenal artist too. She's a dope photographer.
Right.
Yep.
Corinne, follow us so I can stay connected with you. Please.
Yes.
Please. And I want to thank the Urban Explorers of Chicago for tuning in.
Yes.
All of you here.
I appreciate y'all.
Oh, Berna, don't forget to check her out at 900 North Michigan.
I will not.
Follow Alexandra right here on IG at alexandra.antoine. And then visit her website at alexandraantoine.com.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much and have a wonderful evening.
Thank y'all. Peace, peace. Stay hydrated and moisturized.
Yes. Hydrated and moisturized.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
All right. Bye, honey. Thank you so much. Bye. Thank you so much. Who am I missing? It's just me saying bye.
This is great.
Oh, somebody named Straight Foolishness. I'm curious. What kind of straight foolishness are you bringing, right? Thank you, Mimi. Let me tell you something. Mimi, the missionary, she is a midwife. She delivers babies all over. And she is well-versed in herbs and healing practices as well.
And you know, I'm about to get my spiritual herbalism book from Karen Rose right now. Okay. It just came out like, I don't even know. It was like really, like not even very recently. So I'm about to get that book.
Writing that title down.
Yes, spiritual herbalism.
All right.
And the woman knows her work.
A raw food herbal healing genius on this chat is Goddess of Wonder. Her name is based right here in Chicago, but she is a powerhouse. And also, she doesn't like to call herself a midwife. She calls herself more of a doula, I think. Delivering babies. Jean, thank you for joining us. Grits Baby, thank you for joining us.
Grits Baby.
I know, Grits Baby. Look, the question is sweet or savory?
Okay. Savory.
Savory. You know what? I could take them both ways. Oh, my uncle. I didn't even see him on here. Hi, uncle. His handle is what the hell? That's my uncle. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you for participating. Meet us right back here next week for another juicy conversation. And Alexandra, thank you so much. And I look forward to doing.
Thank you. All right. Thank you for having me. This is great.
You're welcome. All right. I'm gone for real this time. Bye-bye.
Bye.